Hello, my name's Flick and welcome to June's Flicks from Picturehouse Cinemas. DNA-farmed dinosaurs tread the earth once more. Ian McKellen plays Baker Street's finest detective in his final hour. The unlikeliest musical ever. The follow-up to Oscar-nominated documentary The Act of Killing. And Flicks Picks, my pick of stage and screen this month. This year seems to be the year where the franchise you thought was dead returns.
It's not about control.
Stand down. It's a relationship based on respect.
Mad Max, Star Wars and now Jurassic World were all but done and dusted until arms reached across the generations and old teams collaborated with new blood to bring about a fresh new perspective. The development of Jurassic World has been a decade-long process, with Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough all announcing role reprisals. But it is, however, just Chief Geneticist Dr. Henry Wu, BD Wong, who made it to number 4. The park is now owned by a multinational corporation who have invested in genetically engineering a hybrid dinosaur out of the deadliest existing dinosaurs. Well, what could possibly go wrong? New resident superhero Chris Pratt plays Owen Grady, the park's velociraptor trainer, who just might save the day.
Light it up!
Something's wrong. They're communicating.
We're talking about an animal here.
A highly intelligent animal.
In Mr. Holmes, Ian McKellen reunites with Gods and Monsters director Bill Condon as a 93-year-old Holmes quietly grappling with beekeeping and the loss of his mind.
I have seen Sherlock Holmes with the hat and the pipe.
I prefer a cigar.
The film is based on the book by Mitch Cullens, A Slight Trick of the Mind, and not a Conan Doyle story, so we meet a cantankerous Holmes that is disdainful of his public portrayal by former colleague Dr. Watson. Wishing to set the record straight, and in an attempt to solve his last case, Holmes begins to write a strictly factual account of his hard-fought-for memories. Laura Linney plays his housekeeper, Mrs. Monroe, and it is her young son, Roger, Milo Parker, who seems to ask the pertinent, innocent and thought-provoking questions to assist Holmes in his last piece of detection.
She needed my help, but I failed to solve her case. Watson wrote the story, but he changed the ending.
So what happened?
I must have done something terribly wrong. I chose exile, but what was it for?
Are you going to go back to the case?
One shouldn't leave this life. That sense of completion.
London Road was originally a 2011 National Theatre musical which opened to unanimous critical acclaim.
I don't mind giving interviews and things like that. That doesn't bother me at all. There's quite a few people that I know that wouldn't, but I said, if you don't get your point of view across, they label us something that we're not.
Both the theatrical and cinematic versions are directed by Rufus Norris, and all the cast appear in both, apart from the film version features an ensemble cast of Tom Hardy, Olivia Colman and Anita Dobson. The story is based on real interviews with local Ipswich people who are reacting to the recent horrific murders of 5 women by one of their own. The lyrics are verbatim and the story completely compelling. One could be forgiven for thinking this some ghoulish, Sweeney Todd-esque cash-in, but it is in fact a celebration of the good that can be found in people and community when confronted by tragedy.
We got a lot of bad press.
be, as far as I'm aware, but the only person that has actually come down here and asked residents how they feel.
So we got together as a community. We just want to see an end. London Road getting back to being London Road.
The Look of Silence is the sequel to director Joshua Oppenheimer's Oscar-nominated 2012 documentary, The Act of Killing. The first documentary dealt with confronting a perpetrator of Indonesia's 1965 genocide. This second documentary follows the journey of Adi, an ophthalmologist whose family has spent the last 5 decades surrounded by the murderers of their son and his brother. Adi's mission is to confront these men who are still in power and unrepentant of their actions. The extraordinary device of the eye goggles, used to help test the men's vision, seems to act as a pacifier to give Adi access to these still extremely dangerous men who will seemingly never be brought to any legal justice. A single man's brave and extraordinary quest for truth and reconciliation. And now Flix Picks, my pick of events and screenings across the group this month. On Wednesday the 10th, live from the Royal Opera House, La Bohème. One of the Royal Opera's best-loved stagings, regularly revived since its opening night in 1974, and now being seen for the very last time. John Copley's keen stagecraft and loving attention to period and dramatic detail make his production a masterpiece of realism, while conductor Dan Ettinger conducts one of Puccini's most emotional and melodious scores, a revival that promises to go down in Royal Opera history. On Thursday the 18th, from Shakespeare's Globe, Antony and Cleopatra. Cleopatra, the alluring and fascinatingly ambiguous Queen of Egypt, has bewitched the great Mark Antony, soldier, campaigner, and now one of the 3 rulers of the Roman Empire. When Antony quarrels with his fellow leaders and throws in his lot with Cleopatra, his infatuation threatens to split the empire in 2. On Sunday the 28th of June, from the director of The Lion King, Julie Taymor, comes a cinematic experience of the much heralded and sold-out production of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, with music by Oscar-winning composer Elliot Goldenthal, cinematography by the masterful Rodrigo Prieto, and stellar performances by David Harewood, Tina Benko, Max Casella and Catherine Hunter. This June sees the kick-off of Blindborn's 2015 season, with a rescreening of Laurent Pelly's 2012 interpretation of 2 short operas by Ravel. Le Espagnol is a sassy and funny sex farce, while L'Enfant et le Sortilège is a touching mortality tale in which fantastical fairy tale characters, animals, furniture and crockery all come to life to teach a small boy about kindness. New live productions from Blindborn follow in July and August. And finally, on the 1st of July, live from the English National Opera, perhaps the most popular opera in the world, Carmen scandalised its earliest audiences with its raw depiction of lust in 19th century Seville. The action is a full-on battle of the sexes fought out in the arena of the Spanish bullring. That's it for June. Remember, you can find screening dates on our website at picturehouses.co.uk. Keep up to date by following us on Twitter and Facebook, and you can pick up a copy of our free magazine Picturehouse Recommends at your local venue or download it to your iPad. And just a little bit of news, this June sees the opening of a brand new venue in London, Picturehouse Central. Based just off Leicester Square with incredible views of Piccadilly and stunning 4K projection, the new venue has been described as an antidote to the West End multiplexes. So keep an eye out for the opening date and make sure to check out this exciting new venue. That's it for this month. Thank you for watching and see you again in July.